What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, back out with another review. And ladies and gentlemen, today is the final review I am posting before I see Superman. So, in the final film in the Superman review series that I will be doing a review for here today is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. But before we get into actual beginning of the review itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe out with YouTube algorithm, and I recommend the video to more people, and maybe they could join that toxic fan. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice down below. With that being said, guys, let's go into let's give a quick plot synopsis of the film, shall we? So, transition issues, It's been nearly 2 years since Superman's colossal battle with Zod devastated the city of Metropolis. The loss of life and collateral damage left many feeling angry and helpless, including crime-fighting billionaire Bruce Wayne. Convinced that Superman is now a threat to humanity, Batman embarks on a personal vendetta to end his reign on Earth, while the conniving Lex Luthor launches his own crusade against the Man of Steel. So, with Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice and Man of Steel, if you watched my review for that, I did say that was the first Superman movie I was able to see in theaters. So, as you could imagine, I saw this film in theaters when it came out. Heck, I even have some of the toys from the movie still flying around, still here somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I have the toys from each of the movies when they came out. So, what Batman vs. Superman, obviously, when it got announced, was a big global event where people were going, what? They're gonna finally do it? Because they've been clamoring a Batman vs. Superman movie building up to this time frame. Many people were wanting this film to happen. And as you guys can see in I Am Legend, there's a little billboard that has Batman vs. Superman on the billboard that I think is actually pretty cool, that even though that was in a film that was announced yet, that getting teased possibly, I thought was really cool. So, with that being said, when I saw the movie for the first time, I thought it was good. I enjoyed my time with it. Over time, though, I've started to see some flaws with it, so let's just see what I think of it nowadays. Alright, starting off with the good in here, I think the opening scene of the film is actually a pretty good way to start the film, where necessarily you don't get the whole entire backstory of Batman in this film, where it's kind of like slower with his parents getting killed and stuff, where it just montages past it a little bit, which I do think that was the smart move when you're introducing a new Batman in your universe, which I'm glad Superman is not going to go into the full-on backstory too. I'm glad that's just going to go a few years later, because I do think that is a story element that's been told so many times. So, the way they montaged past this with, of course, Martha and Thomas Wayne dying at the beginning, ironically played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan from The Last of Us, The Last of Us, wrong zombie universe, The Walking Dead, sorry. As well as Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie in the Walking Dead universe as Martha Kent. So that's kind of cool, because this was before they ended up doing their own duo show together. So I thought that was a cool little thing here. So I think the music as well is pretty good. So yeah, I think the way the movie opens is actually quite solid. Another thing in here is the cast. Henry Cavill still does great as Superman, as he did in Man of Steel. Ben Affleck as Batman, I think, is actually really underrated and did a great job at giving us a more different Batman that kills people and stuff in this one. So I enjoyed his take on Batman and Bruce Wayne. Some of the side cast characters do good in here too, with Amy Adams still playing Lois Lane, and also Clark's mom coming back. I forgot, sorry, I don't know the actress's name, but she does really good in here too. As well, you do have this new addition in Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, which I know a whole lot of people like to crap on her acting nowadays. But earlier on, in the DCEU universe, I think she was actually really good at acting as Wonder Woman. So this one in particular and the Wonder Woman solo movie, she does really, really good in those movies. The only movie she does bad in really is Justice League, which if you hear all the behind the scenes stories, can you blame her for not really acting well in that film? But she does fine. She does actually pretty decent in here as Wonder Woman, and I never understood all the hate that comes towards her because there's moments where she's actually a good actress. So there's that. I think the action scenes are great too. Knowing Zack Snyder, he always does a great job at directing his action scenes, and the warehouse sequence in here, awesome with Batman. That's all I'll say, and there's also other great action sequences throughout the film. Speaking of Zack Snyder, the directing by Zack Snyder with those action scenes I just mentioned and all the other action scenes in this film are directed well, as he usually does with his action scenes, as seen with Man of Steel, which I already glazed that film. He does it yet again in here. I think the story, the main internal conflict of how Batman and Superman end up fighting each other, I think is actually a pretty decent way to have them go at it, where Batman thinks Superman's dangerous, so Batman basically plans to kill Superman. I do enjoy that as a certain banter back and forth between those two characters where they eventually fight. Which brings me to the fight, the main fight between Superman and Batman. Did it deliver over the years of hype for this movie? Yes, for me it did. I think there's the really great fight in the, whatever you call it, the main building that they fight in with all the scenes and stuff. I think they do a great job at that. So I thought that was easily the best fight of the whole. I don't know. The warehouse sequence is pretty close. Them two are neck and neck for best action sequence of the whole entire movie. The final good I have in here is the music. And again, this is the music done by Hans Zimmer. So of course he's going to have great music in here. So he delivers yet again. I already mentioned how we had John Williams in the Christopher Reeves movies as the composer. Then you bring one great composer and then transition right into another one with Hans Zimmer. And of course you're going to have a great music. The main score with Lex Luthor in here, I think is genuinely great. I like the kind of I do enjoy that. That's good done, though. Now let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film, which is the parts I'm 50-50 about. Number one, the ending to the Superman fight with Batman. On one hand, the way that they end it, yes, I can understand how that would be a reason why Batman would want to stop the fight. However, at the same time, I feel you would have had to convince Batman a lot more to stop what he's doing, because Batman is the sort of character that I think when he's fixed on a goal, he's gonna have you're going to have to convince him a lot to not go for that goal. So, I'm 50-50 about that. That's mixed done, though. Now let's move on to the bad. This film is way too overstuffed. If you thought me saying that the Christopher Reeves Superman movies, the sequels, were overstuffed, this movie is twice as overstuffed, because it's trying to be a Superman movie, it's trying to be a Batman movie, it's trying to be a Batman versus Superman movie, while also being a Justice League setup film and the Death of Superman storyline at the same time. So, I like Jesse Eisenberg as an actor in here, but he is very miscast as Lex Luthor, where they make him they do this very weird version of the character. I think Jesse Eisenberg does good with what he's given. However, it would have worked a whole lot more if this wasn't Lex Luthor. This does not fit Lex Luthor at all with his character traits and stuff, playing the young Lex Luthor and going, it's so weird that he does that this whole entire film. It kind of makes me feel as if they're trying, He reminds me of either a version of the Riddler or a version of the Bad Hatter. He does not feel as if he's Lex Luthor in this. That even though I kind of liked his performance as a kid, yes, I fully acknowledge he's miscast in the role here, which same with Jared Leto. For some reason, they miscast their big villains of the heroes in this universe. Final bad in here. This movie is way too long, which doesn't help things when basically all the film is bloated all to heck. It doesn't help things that as well that all the plot lines in the movie could warrant their own movie themselves in this universe, but they said, nah, let's just all squish it into one. So, very long movie. But with that being said, guys, that is just my thoughts on Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Let's bring out the toxic meat. I'm going to give this a toxic goodness, a B-. It's not perfect, it's far from perfect, but I still enjoy this film for what it is, and thought it was a cool way to finally see Batman vs. Superman fight in live action form. So, as I said before, just my thoughts on Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Be sure to comment your thoughts on Batman vs. Superman down below. Be sure to stay tuned as well. Later tonight, there will be an Into the Theater on Theater action of James Gunn's Superman, which there should be a review coming out tomorrow for that, which will all be culminating in a ranking of all the Superman movies from the worst to the best on Thursday. Along with other short little rankings of, all the Superman actors ranked from worst to the best, all the villains, and such and such. But, with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.